The entrance hall was bustling with a crowd of shadowy people, and it sparkled gold with the gold butterflies flying about. The gentlemen in suits and tuxedos and the ladies in dresses looked like they were having a great number of friendly chats. At a glance, it might have looked like a fabulous medieval ball. But they all had one thing in common, and that thing was exceedingly bizarre. Because all of them had goat heads. Was it a goat mask masquerade? Or did they really have goat heads? It probably couldn't be the latter, but in this bizarre world, I really didn't know which was true. Kinzo was amongst those goat nobles, greeting them. Kinzo's greetings were more respectful than would have been expected, as though these were all honored guests. At that time, Genshi's voice rang out through the hall. It was a voice calling for silence. That voice stopped the idle chatter, and everyone turned to face Genji.
今宵復活を遂げましたる我らが黄金の魔女ベアトリーチェ卿のご入場でございます。皆様拍手をもってどうかお迎えください。
When Genji began to applaud, it quickly spread through the guests and became a roaring ovation. Then, the Golden Witch appeared from the top of the large staircase. As she gracefully waved her hand, followed by a piece of furniture she was fond of, she slowly descended the staircase. The goat nobles offered unanimous words of celebration in some long-forgotten language, and those who were deeply intimate embraced, filled with joy at their reunion. As the witch offered greetings of reunion, the witch's furniture followed behind her the whole time. There was a chain around its neck. The other end was gripped in the witch's hand, like it was a trained dog. It wasn't there to restrain him. Those chains were a restraining device whose only purpose was to wound the furniture's dignity. He wasn't permitted to wear anything else on his body. One of the young woman goats mixed in with the goat nobles, quietly removed her goat mask as the furniture passed in front of her, and she spoke with eyes that had no light in them. That face seemed to belong to a long-haired young girl.
Oh, ベルンカステル卿。これはようこそおいでよ。わらわの家具を気に入られたか？いい趣味ね。
After saying only that, the witch called Banquet once again put on her goat mask and was swallowed up by the shadows of the other tall goats.
負け惜しみよ。悔しがってるのよ。
違いないな。
The young woman goats giggled, and the witch once again let out a high-pitched laugh.
今宵はわらわのためによく集まってくれた。久々に古今東西の旧友たちが集う魔女の宴を存分に楽しもうではないか。さあ、飲み明かし、すすり明か、食いちぎり明かして、とことん楽しもうではないか。時計を見よ。終わりの時間と始まりの時間が溶け合う時を指すぞ。魔女の宴を始めよ
う。When the witch announced the beginning of the banquet, the large clock pointed to 24, and the sound of a bell began to ring out.
さあ、今こそ黄金の扉を開こうぞ。
All at once, the butterflies leafed in gold flew all around the inside of the room. Amidst the golden storm and the brilliant gold-colored light, the barrier between this world and another was cut open. Surrounded by the goat's delighted voices, the mansion of the human world and the mansion of those not human overlapped. And the members of the household who praised the resurrection of the Golden Witch scattered into gold butterflies and poured out of the depths of hell. It was a golden tornado. A rondo of golden demons. Come, tonight we will put aside rank. Throw open the wine cellar, drop the snake's head into the liquor pot, throw cows and chickens into the furnace alive, drink and eat and sing and dance, sneer and kill and desecrate and degrade. The gold nobles were suddenly crushing in around Kinzo. Almost like they were kids demanding the signature of some famous movie star. There were only two differences. First, these were witches, not kids. And second, what these witches demanded was not a signature. The sea of gold nobles began to drown Kinzo. Only Kinzo's laughing voice echoed throughout the area. It was a grand mixture of laughter and his death throes, and Kinzo became wine and meat and bread. An aroma if slurped, a rich taste if gnawed, and pleasant to tear to bits. The sound of his death throes lingered on sweetly, and if adorned with melted chocolate and golden argand, it would make a wonderful dessert. If you took the bones home, you could also use them in a soup. And the remains could even become toys for the children to play with. And they could also become splendid tools for fortune telling that always brought misfortune. That entire scene was watched by the furniture. It was all fantastical. It was all demonic. Was the quaking of its supposedly paralyzed heart proof that it could still feel fear? At that time, its knees buckled, and the furniture's body fell down in the middle of the carpet. After all, the witch had kicked those knees from behind.
ひざまずき敬意を示す。額を絨毯にこすりつけて、己神の癒しさを示す。両手を後ろで組み、血肉のすべてをわらわに捧げることを誓え。
The furniture let out a painful voice. Fear is the most basic emotion humans have. Was that emotion reviving his sense of self, which should already have been slain?
まだまだわらわの家具にはふさわしくないか。よい。じっくりそなた。わらわ好み。そしてわらわにのみふさわしい家具に仕上げてやる。今のそなたにできるのはせいぜい客人の方々を楽しませることくらいか。
The gold nobles were surrounding the crouching furniture. It seemed their blazing, blood-red eyes couldn't hide the ecstasy at this new, young food they'd been given. And from the ugly teeth that stuck out of countless mouths, saliva, or maybe the traces of meat and wine that they had just eaten, dribbled down. As the furniture let out a wild scream, it retreated, still sitting on its backside. But the circle of goat nobles was closing in. Then, the furniture looked at the witch's face. It had surrendered to the witch, so, believing that the witch would show some compassion, it stared at her face in the end. But there was nothing but scorn on the witch's face, and she wasn't even facing the furniture anymore. The witch went off to greet an honored guest, with whom she had crossed gazes. The goat nobles looked down upon the furniture. Actually, they had been waiting. Just like how one must remove the cork in order to drink champagne. They had to wait for one thing before partaking of the offerings served at this banquet. Of course, the furniture didn't know about this thing. But it came out of his mouth all by itself. Just like the unavoidable pop of a cork, it inevitably came out of his mouth. It was a scream. It was a sign that marked the beginning of the modest banquet at which he was to be served. By now, the garden was one of both roses and gold. A gold-colored garden where gold butterflies, gold fairies and gold lizards rampaged and flew about wildly.
Maria! Hayaku! Hashite! Hayaku! 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 Hayaku!
Rosa grasped her gun and the blanket wrapped around the ingot, and ran at a speed Maria couldn't match, sometimes pausing to call out at Maria to run faster. So she saw it every time. She saw the golden pursuers chasing them from the mansion. The mass of gold butterflies was chasing after them like a massive crawling hand. And strange looking shadows with gold heads were chasing after them. There was no need for her to strain her eyes, because those blazing pupils told her what would happen if she was captured. Maria fell down. For just an instant, Rosa was shamed by thoughts of abandoning her daughter and running away, and at the instant her feet touched ground, she ran back. The goat head that had sprinted over to get the first bite grabbed hold of the back of Rosa's own child's hair and purred. Rosa rammed into the goat head with her shoulder, spun, bashed the back of her elbow into the goat's jaw, and buried her knee into its protruding chest. And she thrust the barrel of the gun inside the goat's head mouth, as it doubled over from the pain in its gut. The blast from the Winchester's .45 caliber long coat bullet exploded inside the goat's head's throat, and its medulla oblongata was instantly pulverized. The goat head hadn't understood. It had thought women were like pre-opened wine bottles. It had thought that turning them upside down would immediately make the deep red contents come out. Maria, who had been released, hugged Rosa. But the pursuers were still coming. They could see the giant goat heads, who had given up pretending to be human, running towards them from across the rose bushes. Rose spilled several extra bullets, which had been in the pocket of her coat, all over the place, and told Maria to pick them up.
Maria, ママがもし倒れたら、あなたは走りなさい。海岸へ行くの。そして泳いで泳いで泳ぎなさい。この島のどこにも生き延びることのできる場所はない。
Rosa's gun roared 4 times. But even though 4 shots really did hit the massive approaching goats in the chest, they didn't even flinch. The goats ran with a violent vigor, as though they planned to crush Rosa and Maria with those massive bodies. Rosa grasped the blanket with the ingot in both hands, and she herself sprinted, pulling it along. Without even an ounce of fear of those strange-looking giants. If it's to protect my daughter, I'll overcome even hell. Rosa roared. The goats' heads roared. That terribly heavy ingot, after picking up a fearsome centrifugal force and speed, slammed into the head of the goat head. Rosa pulled a fountain pen from her pocket, but she held it crooked. She placed it in her palm, in the gap between her middle finger and her ring finger, so that it stuck out when she made a fist, almost like a stinger was growing out of it. That stinger sliced into the left eye of the goat head as it fell over. Was the goat head's roar a scream? But Rosa's roar was different. She pulled back her fist and slammed into the fountain pen that was still sticking into the goat's head's eye. The pointed tip was gouged into the depths of its head. When Rosa grabbed the gun Maria had thrown, the giant finally tumbled on the ground with a thunderous crash. However, at the same time, I saw the goat-head pursuers on the other side of the rose bushes increase in number. I've gained enough distance for now. I held onto the blanket wrapped around the ingot and the gun, and once again ran with Maria. Why am I running with a gun in my right hand and the goat in my left? Why don't I let go with one hand and grasp Maria's hand? I can't let go of the gun that protects my body. I can't let go of the goat that protects my future. But even so, I've let go of the hand of my daughter, the one who is my future. Run, run, run. She got out of the rose garden and began to run down a staircase through the grove of trees. But Rosa knew. This path through the grove turned and twisted many times and only seemed to be long. She tore straight through it. She had played here often since her childhood years, so she knew. To the beach, to the beach, to the sea, to the sea, to the sea. And after reaching the sea, nothing to do but swim, swim, swim. And if Maria can't swim, I'll carry her as I swim. There's nothing but death on this island. As she raced down the stairs, she took a bad step. A violent pain ran up her left ankle, and her mind went completely blank. Rosa fell down several stairs, shocked by her ankle, which was bent at an odd angle. And the blanket with the ingot wasn't there. She had let go of it the instant she fell, and it had disappeared somewhere into the darkness. Only the gun was left. Tremors in the earth were getting closer. It was only a matter of time before the goat heads flooded in. She didn't want to imagine how many there would be, or how strange they would look. The lightly dancing gold pursuers arrived. The gold butterflies surrounded Rosa and Maria, waving and clamoring as though saying, "The prize is here, the prize is here." Rosa couldn't even try to get up. The violent pain from her broken ankle was so great that she couldn't ignore it, even in her last moments. What am I doing? I had a gold, which would have been worth several million yen. I might have been able to start over with that. And yet I fell, lost it, and now my own life is in danger. And Maria's too? What has my life been? I was born into an incomprehensible family, with irritating older siblings since the day I was born. What did I do? No matter what I did or didn't do, I was always in trouble and bullied and made fun of. What has my life been? The roar inside Rosa's heart shriveled away and disappeared. It disappeared when she heard Maria's crying voice as she sobbed and clung to Rosa.
ママはちょっと用事を思い出したの。先に行っててちょうだい。ママと一緒がいい。ママが死んじゃ嫌だ。マリアはこんな悪いママでもママと一緒がいいと言ってくれるの。ママと一緒がいい。ママと一緒がいい。あなたのことを一番にしているように見せて、いつもあなたのことを後回しにしてきた。運動会に行った、授業参観に行った。でもいつもママは世間体のことばかりで、あなたが瞳にいなかった。こんなママとでもあなたは一緒にいたいというの。こんな悪いママなのに。ねえママ、知ってる？世界にママは一人しかいないんだよ。いいママも悪いママもいない。ただママが一人いるだけなの。だからマリアは世界でたった一人ママがいてくれればいい。そしてママにとってたった一人のマリアになりたいの。機嫌が良くて甘やかしたいマリアと邪魔だからいてほしくないマリアは別人じゃないの。マリアもたった一人のマリアなの。だから怖いママも優しいママも一緒。マリアにはたった一人のママなの。私はなんてバカだった。黄金なんかいらなかった。ただあなただけの手を引いていればよかった。私はなんてバカなママだったの。
The shadows of the goats covered the sky even more thoroughly than the trees of the forest. Their roars blotted out the world with fear. Rosa, still hugging Maria, readied her gun with one hand.
マリア、一緒に行こう。ずっと一緒よ。ママが迷わないようにずっと一緒に。すぐに会えるよ。ずっと一緒だよ。黄金鏡で会えるよ。そしたら一緒に遊ぶの。狼と羊のパズルで遊ぶの。ママはまだ1問しか解いてないけど、マリアは全部解いちゃったんだよ。だからマリアが出題してあげる。
She had bought it as a birthday present, and then hadn't played it with Maria after that first night.
遊ぼうね。一緒に。約束する。ママー！
Those eyes, sparkling like red-hot lava, looked just like a group of fireflies. They danced, closed in and attacked.
マリアが込めてくれた銃弾を食らえたやつから。
When the seagulls cried, there were no survivors.